We're Vegas bound, baby. Ticket punched. Rockets win. Night, night, Warriors. Let's talk about it. What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Summit State of Mind, presented to you by the Apollo Podcast Network and powered by J-Bar M. Post-game pod, completely unplanned, flanked by my brother, the GM. Who else could I do a post pod with? We haven't done a post pod at all this season. Fresh out of Toyota Center, 91-90. Ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Rockets have snapped a 15-game losing streak and have moved on to Las Vegas in the semifinals to take on the OKC Thunder. And we put the fucking Warriors to bed. GM, how are we doing tonight?
Woo! You know what, man? Put it on red, put it on 7. We rolling the dice, baby. We going to Vegas.
7.
Yeet.
7.
That's how I feel about it.
7.
Tonight was a state of euphoria.
Bought my mama a car. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say the rest. I'm sorry. Go on.
Yo, tonight's game was just wild. The game was ugly.
We'll talk about the fact that we were actually there. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, let them know. We were at Toyota Center.
Yes, we were.
Shout outs to the homie Dex.
Shout out to Big Dexy
Took
taking us out.
Christmas present, little Christmas present
I know,
action.
Man. Merry Christmas to us. Thank you, Dex. You are just the fucking man. Thank you so much, man.
Gosh, it's just full on emotion right now.
We're riding a high.
I mean, literally, the game
honestly.
ended less than an hour ago, and we are sitting here right now before y'all because we know that y'all probably want to hear our thoughts on this game, and we appreciate each and every one of y'all that wants to hear our thoughts.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, 91-90 GM, right into it right now. Immediate reaction, 91-90. Shout outs to Christian, hit him with the unprettier because the game was just unpretty.
Yes.
It was an ugly freaking game.
It was bad.
But bottom line, Rockets punched their ticket regardless, 91-90.
Yes.
There's so much to unpack here, and we're going to try to do this in a very condensed time because this is just purely reactionary on our episode, but immediate thoughts.
Dude, this was an Ime signature game. This is the kind
I
of
love that
game.
you called that.
Ime signature
Called it.
game. This is the kind of game that he wants to coach and he wants to win. Nitty, gritty, so much defense being played. I don't know how many 24-second shot clock violations we saw on the defensive end for the Rockets. It was like 6 or 7, I feel like, but maybe less. But it felt like that, you know.
Two crucial ones down the stretch.
Absolutely.
With like a minute and a half. Oh, no, with like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes left in the game. 2 straight 24-second shot clock violations.
Yes. I mean, Şengün put up numbers tonight. This man was doing all he could. Jalen, cold fucking blooded free throws at the end of the game. My man hadn't taken any shots really, but to knock down those 2 free throws, God, I salute you. And shout out to Kenny's son, Jabari Smith Jr. And Kenny, I'm going to ask you for one thing. You know what we got to do?
What we got to do for myself?
Acknowledge him.
Acknowledge Jabari Smith Jr. Put the ones up for the 1 rebound.
Yep.
And
the
Did
block.
we say that out
And
loud?
the block to save us.
Clutch block at the very end, Podziemski. Right now, I'm trying to load up the score right now. It's not. I mean, not load the score. I'm trying to load up the stats right now, but it's not being very friendly.
There's too many people on the NBA server.
Yeah, there really is. Like, I
apparently.
can't even get on the Rockets score, so it's pretty ridiculous right now. You try to get on. But I think for me, immediate thoughts is the temperature in the arena when Jalen got to the line to hit those last 2 free throws. He hit it, clutched it out. It was so funny. It almost felt like Rockets fans weren't used to big moments like this.
Yes.
Because they got really loud. Like, it took like a handful of like very not knowledgeable fans, like including myself, where I was like, "Hey, respectfully, shut the fuck up!" Like
yeah, you saw Jabari just
right, like all like the
guys,
entire fan, like like most of the Rockets team was like, even the bench was like, "Hey, just settle down." Like, I know y'all are excited, and Jalen, shout outs to him for clutching it out, but I mean, just leading into that moment alone, possession after possession after possession, shots were not being made. It was tough all around. Baskets were so hard to come by. But this, at the end of the day, this is playoff basketball. Like this is what championships are kind of made out of. And you can tell that the Warriors did treat it. Well, I take it. I don't know if they treated it that way. Steph Curry played not to his level. I don't know
I
if
agree.
he took it seriously or if he just.
I mean, he was out for a game against us last
Right.
week, so he's still on the mend. I would say he
Right.
might not be completely healthy.
Right. But bottom line, I mean, putting Jalen into that situation, hit clutch free throws. Shout outs once again to all the guys that have, that came out and played very well. Alperen Şengün. I think Ime Udoka, like he did his chess pieces perfectly. Anytime there was a timeout, a defensive switch, a defensive possession,
Yep.
He would put in the defensive death lineup, which is great. And then every time like there was a free throw shot, he'd bring back in the offense. So Şengün and Jalen would come in for just offensive purposes.
Yep.
Perfect. I mean, you couldn't have coached a better game. My MVP of the game has to go to Ime Udoka easily.
Absolutely. I mean,
Like facts.
the way he coached his game, I know that there was a lot of questionable rotational moves in terms of the lineup. I'll say this.
Offensively, yes.
I'm looking at this right now. He only played an 8-man rotation. So he treated this like a playoff
Preview
game.
for a playoff
If
game,
we're
yep.
looking at it in terms of
I
the
think it's
minutes in
still
the
not
rotation, Jabari Smith Jr. played 37 minutes. Well, let's say 38. 38 for him and Dylan Brooks. Fred VanVleet played 36 minutes, and then LP and Jalen played 31 apiece. So Amen Thompson played 29, almost 30 minutes. So
Which we kind of expected,
Yeah,
right?
which makes
Kinda
sense. I
hearing
mean,
that.
the way that Amen was playing, the defense, the blocks he got on breaks, that big block on Steph Curry on the other end was a beautiful, beautiful sight to see. Like overall, just man, I am just. It's a feeling of euphoria, like the emotion, the blood rushing to you while we were in the arena is just you can't explain it.
I let out the loudest blood-curdling scream the second the clock hit 0. Guys,
man.
I don't know, like, we've been fans since, even before the Harden era. But every loss
We grew
against
up
the
with 'em.
Warriors, 15 in a row.
Yep.
Like, ain't no Sweet 16 here. But the sheer emotion of actually getting over the hump against this Warriors team with this Rockets team. Like, this is... It fully has shown now that this is a season of change. Like,
Yep.
this team is ready to make the leap. Because even if they can shoot one of their worst three-point shooting games this season, may have been the worst, literally may have been the worst. I don't know, either the worst or one of the worst percentage-wise, to still beat a team. And not only that, but to beat not a current dynasty, but a team with leftover dynasty. And I compared it, sorry, I'm going to say this. I compared it to the Detroit Tigers and the Houston Astros.
Yep.
It was that. It was the young team that went out and wanted it and got it and
Yep.
found a way to beat the old guard, to find a way to beat the team that was a dynasty and find a way to knock them out. And BTD fans, I apologize. Vietnam War flashbacks, I apologize.
Yeah.
But just big time stuff overall. GM, not moving on. I do not want to touch on the OKC game. That's going to be for a future episode. But just to harping on tonight, who, in your opinion, like besides MVP, is there any other players that deserve a shout out or any players that have earned something? You know what I mean? It was a very ugly game at that.
Yes,
But
yes.
overall, who deserves like that credit?
I want to
that
give
love?
two guys credit.
Okay.
Amen Thompson and Dylan Brooks. I'm not going to go Terror Twins. I mean, Tari played decently, but it didn't. To me, there were definitely some times where I feel like he could have done better. But Tari did come up at the end defensively. But I do want to give it all for the whole game as a whole picture. Dylan Brooks and Amen Thompson. Those guys guarding Steph Curry.
Tough.
Buddy Hield went off in the third, but I get it. That happens. But the defense that they played on Steph, even though Steph did get some wide open shots, the overall defense was there. They were playing hard. They were playing tough, and they were on him the whole time. They did not relent, and you got to give their kudos, man. Like, the defense was just top notch, and like I said, Ime signature game, man.
If there was
It
anything,
all there.
if there was
Imprints.
anything that was picture perfect,
Yeah.
at all that game, it was the defense.
Absolutely.
Like, there were very few plays where the slip screens got loose and they were able to get to the rim with ease. There was
Yeah.
maybe, I would say, 6 or 7 of those plays
Yeah.
where Warriors, on an average, can probably get 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Like, they'll get those slip plays to the rim, those easy layups, just because Steph Curry contains so much gravity.
Yeah.
That they'll get those slip plays. I counted maybe 5 to 7 at most, which is on the lower end considering how good the Warriors are at that ball movement. Probably one of the best ball movement teams in the NBA today. Maybe one of the best ball movement teams in history. Like, the fact
Yeah,
that they're
absolutely.
able to contain that. You know what I mean? And let's not talk about the fact that the second Jalen Green hit, after he hit both free throws, I could not cheer. I could not. I'm telling y'all, 3.7 on the clock, greatest player, greatest three-point shooter to have ever lived in a Golden State uniform?
Yeah.
Hell no. So
yeah, there was no comfort. There was zero comfort there.
Zero comfort. But shout outs and love to get the ball out of Steph's hands.
Absolutely.
Walk us through that last possession, GM. What did you see? Clearly from the eye test, obviously, we know the Jabari big block at the very end of Podziemski, but to get to that point, to get the greatest three-point shooter ever to pass it.
Well, I mean,
it
was what
did you
initially
see?
it was Fred on him.
Yep.
And then they got the screen to where I think they switched to Tari, and then Tari literally got him to the baseline where he literally could not make a step. When was it Pods that passed it in?
Yeah,
Pods the
passed it in.
inbounder.
Yep.
And then he could literally Steph got
Pods
to the
slipped
point,
corner. Yeah.
went to the corner, and he had a little space, but Bari was he was ready. He was there.
Dude, he was
He
so
knew what
ready.
he had to do.
Oh my
Without
gosh.
block without fouling. Like it was a picture perfect defensive possession to close out a game because you took it out of the best player's hands and you gave it to a guy that, he's not known to hit clutch shots. I mean, Podziemski did have a decent game, but he shouldn't be taking that shot. So
Yeah, no. Absolutely should not. And if there's any player that you can give it to at that moment, if you're a Rockets fan, yeah, give it to Podziemski as well.
over anyone over Steph.
Anyone over Steph. Even
Yeah.
Draymond. I'd rather Podziemski shoot the ball over Draymond. Just these guys that know how to score, slip, make. I could not breathe in those last 3 seconds.
Yeah,
There's a photo.
man.
Dex actually snapped the photo. Maybe I can get it on either in this episode or I can thumbnail it maybe. Me and the GM were not in a good place. We were so freaking nervous and
Yeah.
Guys, I need all Rockets fans to just take this moment and just
Soak it in.
And shout outs to Chris Jericho from 2016. Drink it in, man. Like
Yo, drink it in, man.
man.
What a stain, what a pull.
yeah, dude, come on.
That's
That's what
a
I do.
fucking pull,
I
dude.
just want Rockets fans to just kind of
Relish in it.
yeah, right. So and my personal saying has always been do the work, acknowledge the results. And
There you go.
tonight, acknowledge the freaking results and enjoy this night,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. This is the very first time in years where the Rockets won a big game, and now you institute the midseason cup to where you can start the playoffs early essentially, and you can put these young guys into games that matter,
Yep.
that will poise them in April games, in May games, and playing in big moments like this against a team that you historically have struggled against, that every iteration since the Harden era has struggled against. Any team that Jalen and Alperen Şengün has struggled against, Ime Udoka included, you exercise those damn demons and you win and you advance. You kill so many birds with one stone. That's why the gravity of this situation is so huge. We had to come on and talk about it.
Man, just I'm in a state of euphoria. I'm so happy. Like I was telling Kenny even before we started, like I'm feeling emotional.
He wants to cry.
I'm feeling emotional.
My goal is to get him to cry before the end of this episode.
Nah, that's not gonna happen.
Puppies.
Not gonna happen. But we're just
Dogs in cages. I don't know.
don't put on the Sarah McLachlan song.
In the arms.
Yeah, that's it. That's the song. Yeah, we all seen that.
that part. But I mean, overall, like, look, let's not. We're not the pod. I'm not gonna dive in X's and O's with y'all. It's just
We're celebrating
Yeah,
mood.
I'm purely celebratory. If you want to talk X's and O's and talk about all the negatives of the game, you can hop on some other shows for that. Sorry, you're not gonna get that from us. It's all positivity from here on in. The ticket is punched into Vegas. You like what I did there?
Get the flights, baby.
Final thoughts, GM, before we get ready to go home here.
Man, I just Houston. Shout out to y'all for coming out tonight. It was a late start.
Packed house, man.
It was a packed house.
Packed house.
The first bucket, you got the energy of a playoff game, and that's what you're all craving. And shout out to y'all, Houston. And before we go, shout out to everyone that showed up today to our pregame happy hour at J-Bar M. Like, you guys showed up and showed out. We sold out the barbecue tonight before even game time.
Yep, we did.
Feeling very proud
It was
about
like
that.
by 7 o'clock, maybe 7:15.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy stuff.
absolutely.
So once again, J-Bar M, our sponsor for our show, powering this episode, fueling us to get us going through this episode. So shout out once again, J-Bar M. Be sure to check them out. Best barbecue in the city of Houston. GM, let's get ready to go home here. I just wanted to get on camera, celebrate Talk it out. And by the way, guys, before we go home here, let us know how you feel. I want to know, what is the feeling of Rockets fans right now? Type it in the comments. Give me likes. Yeah, I love the algo.
We love it.
Yeah. I love the algorithm. Feel the algo ride.
Let's
Come
get
on.
up. It's algo time.
It's algo time. Cool Rockets. Let's go.
Let's go.
So go ahead and drop your comment right now. Let us know
Yeah.
how you feel about this Houston Rockets win. Is it the biggest win in the last 4 years? Tell us how you feel. Drop it in the comments right now. Who's the MVP? Who had the best game? Who had the best game tonight? And can the Rockets beat OKC? Can they make it all the way? Drop it in the comments. We're not going to preview it this episode. We're going to preview it next episode. But drop it in comments right now. Let us know how you feel. Let's get ready to go home here. GM, give the people what they want one time.
You know, before we do anything, you gotta super kick that subscribe button.
Oh my
On
gosh.
Apollo HOU YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, guys. Comment, like everything. But
Like,
we want you
comment,
to subscribe.
subscribe.
We need it. We're at 12.8K subs. We're so close to 13. Can you guys get us over the hump by the end of the weekend?
I think we can
That
do
is
it
a
this
challenge.
episode. I think this episode can get us there.
That's a challenge.
I feel good. I feel strong.
By the end of it's Sunday. If we can get to 13K, hopefully, guys.
I think
Sunday.
we can do it. I feel strong.
Yes, I would love it. But everyone, make sure to follow me on all socials at JP_Mirabueno. Make sure to follow our podcast on Twitter at Summit, SOMPOD. Make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at Summit State of Mind _POD. And make sure to follow us, our squad, our team, on all socials at Apollo HOU.
Very nice. And you can follow me on Twitter as well. Why do you have to look at me like that? Why do you have to turn your head like that?
Sorry, my bad.
He goes,
It's
follow me
on you.
Follow me on Twitter as well. I'm Ron Burgundy. Follow me on Twitter as well at Summit Commish. Once again, the Houston Rockets, your Houston Rockets, America's team, Houston Rockets, have slayed the beast. Finally, no Sweet 16 here. A 15-game losing streak has been snapped. The Houston Rockets defeat the Golden State Warriors 91-90, punch their ticket to Vegas in a very big semifinal game against the OKC Thunder. We're going to end this episode, as we end every episode, with a Go Summit, Go Apollo. Hey, I said this. Night-night Warriors, ticket punched, finish the frickin' job. Let's go win the NBA Cup. Go Rockets. GM, Big Goose is not here, so do the thing.
Shout out to J-Bar M. Yeet!
Oh, did not expect that. Okay. Yeet.